So we're doing flopping and diving. So for our thesis, we decided that flopping and diving is ethically unacceptable because at its core is a method of cheating. The sports that flopping and diving exists in is mainly obvious in soccer and basketball due to the level of contact that normally is allowed in the sport versus having players being thrown to the ground in some cases. There's also a large amount going on in basketball, which obscures refs' vision, so this allows for more unreasonable acts to get away with. We have a video showing some of the really obvious and bad flopping.
Okay, so according to Dr. Torres in his article, What Counts as a Part of a Game, A Look at Skills, flopping is neither a constitutive skill nor a restorative skill. On top of this, Ronnie Lidor and others discussed how the impact of a flop or dive seems to be negative in their deception and decision-making in professional basketball. Is it beneficial to flop? The overall integrity of sports is compromised by the act of flopping or diving as well.
Flopping or diving is defined as the action of deliberately falling or stumbling in order to give the appearance of having been fouled by an opponent. This is at its core wrong because, as summarized by S.P. Morris in his Deception of Sports, this takes away from the constitutive skills and it does not reflect that, and it separates it from those skills from the game. These forms of deception, is what they are, separate or show a lack of respect for all of the opponents in the game, for the game itself. It's done to convince the refs to call a foul through subterfuge, which is cheating, and it takes away opponents' ability to play the game.
So the argument proposed in favor of flopping or diving is that the act is a strategic foul. As defined by Robert Simon, a strategic foul is when a competitor in an athlete contest deliberately and openly breaks a rule expecting to be penalized and with willingness to accept the penalty in order to obtain a strategic advantage in the contest. With this being said, flopping cannot be a strategic foul because flopping is done in a form of deception, where the competitor is not trying to draw attention to their flop or dive. Strategic fouling is dependent on the idea of equal constitutive skills and a fair price, neither of which are reflected in flopping or diving. And then the counter argument against the action in this case is that flopping or diving is cheating rather than a strategic foul. As defined in the book Fair Play, The Ethics of Sport, cheating is intentionally breaking the public system of rules to get an otherwise unattainable advantage while avoiding punishment. Therefore, by evaluating the definition of cheating, we can determine that it is an act of deception and not a strategic foul. To add on, Ronnie Lidor and others discuss that referees almost never call an offensive foul if the defensive player remained on his feet. Therefore, if a player intentionally falls, the referee is more likely to call that as an offensive foul, thus supporting the deception aspect of diving and flopping.
our recommendations for the practitioners of the sport start with having greater incentives for the professional and higher level players to not flop. This leads into the idea of professional players being role models for youth who are learning the sport. And so it should be taught at the lower levels that flopping and diving is unacceptable and not a part of the game. Because instead, they are sometimes even taught how to do it successfully. Referees should also use discretion when making calls. There are some times when they have very obvious and clear line of sights for a gap between the players, and they should be understanding that if it's very obvious, they don't need to call.